Hello there and welcome. My name is Manik Mia and I am a therapy trainer in London. And today's topic we're going to look into hijama, wet cupping. So we will start off with the introduction. What do you already know about hijama? What have you heard about hijama? So hijama is an Arabic word which means hajam, which translates to sucking. Now, the term cupping therapy could refer to multiple different types of treatment. Cupping is the process in which some types of cup is applied to numerous points on the body and then the air is removed from inside the cups to form a vacuum. So, let me just show you a quick demo. So, we have our cupping gun here and we have got this plastic cup. Okay, so if I was to place this onto my arm, I'll just pinch off the top here and then I'll put it here. Okay, actually this is quite a large cup, so let me just get a smaller one. So we have a smaller cup here. Okay, they're individually wrapped. We only use them once in hijama for hygiene reasons. So I'll just pinch it on the top here, apply my suction gun, and I will apply it, do a few pumps, and it's stuck onto my hand. Okay, so that is what we have just illustrated. So it is to remove the oxygen inside the cup to form a vacuum. Okay, whereas hijama is the therapy of wet cupping, also known as bleeding cupping. This is performed by taking a surgical instrument to scrape the skin and then use the vacuum method to collect the blood. So in our hijama training, what we do is we use surgical blade number 15. So these are surgical blade number 15s. Obviously all the equipment and everything, you're going to find it on the PDF folders, so don't worry about that. We will give it to you at the end. So we have the number 15 surgical blade here. Just to show you a demo of how it looks like. It's all here, so it's quite sharp, as you can see. So we use this to make the piercings. Okay, so all the equipments what you need for wet cupping hijama will be given to you on the PDF folder. So I'm just showing you roughly for the time being. Okay, so we use this instrument to scrape the skin and then use the vacuum method, as I showed you earlier, to collect the blood. Now, this is the most effective method of cupping and is also known as the oldest, most popular method. So if we go back into history behind hijama, cupping is associated these days with Chinese medicine. However, once back in history, the world knew of this therapeutic treatment and it was used everywhere. Cupping therapy was born in Egypt. The Egyptian medical papyrus of herbal knowledge, which was written around 1550 BCE, states that the bleeding by wet cupping will remove any foreign matter from the body. Ancient Egyptians reviewed that cupping could be used as a remedy for almost every disorder. Okay, we will give you a few images on the PDF folder so you can have a look how the Egyptians used to do cupping. That will be provided to you on the PDF file. Around 3,500 years ago, it was represented in their hieroglyphic illustrations, which you'll see on the PDF folder. The Egyptians passed the art of cupping to the ancient Greeks. Both Galen and Hippocrates were committed advocates and users of cupping therapy. A physician, Alexandra, by the name of Erastratus, was sentenced by Galen for not using cupping. So you could see that how serious that people took cupping in those days. A famous Greek physician and historian Herodotus wrote, obviously we'll give it to you in the PDF folder, but I'm just going to roughly go through it. Scarification with cupping possesses the power of evacuating offending matter from the head, of diminishing pain of the same part, of lessening inflammation, of restoring the appetite, of strengthening a weak stomach, of removing vertigo, and tendency to faint, or drawing deep-seated offending matters toward the surface, or drying or obstructions, checking hemorrhages, promoting menstrual evacuations, arresting the tendency to putrefaction in fevers, allaying rigors, accelerating, moderating the crisis of diseases, removing a propensity to somnolence, conciliating natural repose, removing heaviness. These are many analog maladies and relieved by the judicious applications of the cucurbits, cups, dry or bloody. So you can see that cupping could be used for so many different kind of ailments that we see today, and I think it is something that we should look into. It is not something which was created recently. It has been passed on from generations to generations. Now, until the 20th century, cupping remained an important part of medicine and therapy in the West. This included conventional, alternative, folk-based. Okay, so in 1826, a surgeon, Charles Kennedy, wrote, "The art of cupping has been so well known, and the benefit arising from it being so long experienced, that it is quite unnecessary to bring forward testimonials in favour of what has received not only the approbation of modern times, but also the sanctions of remotest antiquity." So what he's trying to say is cupping therapy in the UK also dates back a long time. It was referred to in the Lancet, one of the leading medical journals. It was named Lancet as this refers to the surgical instrument used in cupping. So what actually happened to hijama? Why did hijama, which is called wet cupping, disappear from the mainstream? One of the reasons is the changes in people's attitudes, traditional medicine versus pharmaceutical, an increase in awareness of disease and cross-infection, the birth of the National Health Service. So we see that the pharmaceutical industry is pumping a lot of money into the National Health Service, and it is a way for the industry to profit from giving drugs to the patients. I am not against modern science or modern pharmaceutical medicine, but there is a room for alternative therapy like hijama, which could be very beneficial, and this is most organic method that we use. The types of hijama, the two categories of cupping are wet and dry cupping. Wet cupping, when blood is extracted during cupping, which is called hijama. So we used a surgical blade, the one I showed you earlier, which is here. And once we have placed the cup, so what we do is we place the cup using the suction gun. So I would, all these videos will be demonstrated to you later on. So what we do is we put the cup here, okay, and then wait for 7 minutes. We don't do more than 7 minutes to so it doesn't it kind of numbs the skin, and then after 7 minutes we pierce the skin with a surgical blade, and then after that we put the cup back on for another 7 minutes, okay, and then the blood will come out. Okay, so that is hijama wet cupping, whereas dry cupping is just applying the cup onto the skin and bringing the blood to the surface. So a popular one would be the Korean Chinese, or the Korean cupping actually. So you can see the glass is different quality here. This is more of a polycarbonate material. So we use this onto the skin, okay, and create suction, okay, and we can put this onto different parts of the body. More would be demonstrated on doing our different protocols on different issues that the client could have. So you could have a sciatica, or you could have a pain on one side. So we will come back to those videos later on, but I just illustrated to you that there is two different types. So you've got the wet cupping using the surgical blade, and the other one which is just applying the cup onto the skin to help the better circulation of blood. So hijama is also known or referred to as the Sunnah hijama. This is because it is a practice that is recommended in the Islamic hadith. People may also refer to hijama as wet cupping or bleeding cupping before the vacuum cup is applied. a surgical instrument is used to pierce the skin, and the vacuum cup is applied to then withdraw the blood. So we will further look into this on the next chapters. Historical methods. Before the invention of the hand pump, okay, in the days earlier, they used to do cupping with bamboo cups and animal horns. So you probably see a demo of this on the PDF files. Another way of doing is fire cupping. So we use, rather than using the plastic ones, you use the glass cups. And the glass cups is, you know, you put the fire, to do the fire cupping, you put a flame inside the cup, and in order to remove the oxygen, okay, and then this kind of forms a suction onto the skin. This procedure can be used in hijama or dry cupping, okay, but we would use the mechanical pumps and the disposable cups. I think this is the most safest way, because we don't want to have any cross-contamination with any client. So we always use fresh cups and fresh blades, and you know, we dispose them off safely. Okay, so another form is the massage cupping. So we will show you a PDF file on that. Massage cupping is a popular treatment used in spas. This is a common type of dry cupping. This process involves herbs, oils being applied to the skin, and the cup is used on a weak suction over areas that needs to be treated. Massage cups can vary. Below us, some examples we can show you on the PDF file. I'll send you a link where you can buy massage cuppings. This is for people who want to do spa treatments for their clients. Usually they do it around the face, but there's no cuts or piercing. It's just to put some herbs in there and then just kind of like rejuvenate the skin. So traditionally viewed cupping, how it works. Traditionally cupping is seen as removing dirty blood. Okay, so this is hijama cupping, where you make the piercings, or to remove blockages. And an old Chinese medical maxim states, where there is stagnation, there will be pain. Remove the stagnation and you will remove the pain.